It's time for Animaniacs. Yeah, we're not going to be singing, but it is time for Animaniacs. They are still zany to the max. They still have baloney in their slacks. It's Steven Spielberg presents the Animaniacs. All new episodes, and the voices and creators are zooming by to talk about it. Speaking of animation, you might not know the name Tara Strong, but do you know Tommy Pickles from Rugrats? Do you know Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents? Do you know Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls? I could do this all day long. You're gonna know Tara Strong because she's stopping by to hang out. Also, Hilary Swank's new movie Fatale may be getting pushed around by the pandemic, but Hilary Swank ain't getting pushed around by nobody. We'll talk with my friend, producer Sean Edwards, about when you can see this edge-of-your-seat thriller. Also, this might be the only uncle you get to hang out with this Thanksgiving. Uncle Frank the Movie is awesome. Paul Bettany from Avengers joins me to talk about this heartwarming, huggable holiday treat. That and more on this edition of Extra Butter!
Hey, what's up there, y'all? Thanks for coming back to Extra Butter. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's where we talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies. Thanks for liking and subscribing if you watch on YouTube. And to the men and women all over the world serving our country, thanks for watching on AFN in 168 different countries and territories worldwide. Despite the pandemic. Speaking of the pandemic, it is changing everything in the industry. And for that, I want to go to my good friend, Sean Edwards. How you doing, Sean?
It's my man, Mark. What's up, man? I hate the pandemic for one thing and one thing only. We haven't hung out in 8 months, man. That ain't right. That is not right. That's the longest I've gone without seeing you, man. It's like, I feel like a family member's gone missing, man. Every time I look at a milk carton, I'm looking for your picture, man. Like, where's my man Mark at? Man, we haven't hung in so long.
I promised I was going to keep it positive and not cry. I feel the same way, Mr. Sean Edwards. And I'll tell you what, for people who don't know, Sean and I travel all over the world and have done so for decades, visiting the sets of major motion pictures, every franchise imaginable, we were there. And on the other side, we also have segued into producing our own films. And that's kind of why I have you on today, because one of your best films, Fatale, is teetering on the edge of what to do because of the pandemic. Talk about that.
Man, I know the pandemic is just, man, it's crushing us at Hidden Empire Film Group. I mean, we produced this beautiful, gorgeous, contemporary noir thriller starring two-time Academy Award winner Hilary Swank, starring Michael Ealy, starring Mike Coulter. I mean, it's just a lavishly produced film, directed by Dion Taylor, produced by Dante Spinotti. So, you know, the film looks good, the acting's solid. It's opening theatrically on December the 18th. We want people to enjoy it on the big screen, but we also want people to stay healthy and be safe. And if you don't get a chance to check out Fatale at the theater, it will be available at the beginning of the first of the year.
And I might be biased, but I also am a friend of Dion Taylor. He's my neighbor in Granite Bay. And I was on the set of this movie when Hilary and, like you said, the legendary cinematographer Dante Spinotti were doing their thing. I want to see it on a big screen, and I'm glad that it looks like maybe we'll get a chance. In the meantime, can you give me some positive news? What can we watch at home that'll at least get us back in the spirit we're supposed to be in?
If you're not ready to go out to the movie theater, there's a lot of really good stuff you can watch at home. One of my personal faves so far this year, Mark, perfect for the holiday season, Jingle Jangle on Netflix. It's a musical. It's sort of got this old school vibe. It's sort of a throwback. If you remember the movie The Wiz from the 1970s, it's sort of kind of got that cool, soulful flavor to it. It's just a fun, universally appealing movie. I love it a lot. Directed by David E. Talbert.
Truly one of the rare films in this day and age that you could absolutely have every generation in your household, provided that they're in the bubble that's approved to be gathering together, to watch.
No, it's so much. No, it's so much fun. It actually, I know this sounds sort of cliche, but it really did pull a smile on my face.
Awesome. We got to get you back on, got to get Dion back on, and Hilary Swank to talk about it. Sean Edwards, where do we find you online? Where can we stalk you?
Man, just Google Sean, SHAWN Edwards. It'll take you to all my social media platforms. But thanks for the opportunity to jump on. I love Extra Butter, man. This is my show right here. This is my favorite because, man, you've been rocking and rolling and doing your thing for a long time, man. You're the original movie dude out here.
I'm not the original, but I am the one that will clog your arteries the quickest. Sean, love you, man. Miss you. Thanks for hanging out.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thank you, Sean. All right, when we come back on Extra Butter, it's time for Animaniacs. Yes, they are back. And by that I mean Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. We'll talk about the Steven Spielberg creation coming back to life next. Hey you! Welcome back to Extra Butter, a show where we talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies, unless of course there's, I don't know, like a pandemic, and then we'll talk about whatever we want. And specifically what I want to talk about right now is the reboot of Animaniacs. The Animaniacs are back and they're on Hulu. Now if you're jumping in going, what's the Animaniacs? I can explain. When I was a youngster, the Animaniacs were created by Steven Spielberg in 1992 to bring back to life the comics that he grew up with, like all of the Looney Tunes, the Chuck Jones, Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner, etc. So he created Yakko, Wacko, and their sister Dot, these undefined creatures that live in the Warner Brothers tower, and the hilarity ensues. Well, it went away for all these years, but now it's back, and here's why I'm excited. Because Wesley Wild, someone whose name doesn't mean much to you, but to me, it's the guy who wrote and directed both Ted 1 and Ted 2. He's the showrunner, director behind this, and then Jess Harnell, the voice of Wacko, crushes it. By the way, the voice of Yakko, loosely based on Ringo Starr, the Beatles drummer. All right, forget about that. I got a chance to Zoom with them and could barely contain myself. Take a look. First of all, how are you and where are you? Starting with you, Wesley.
How's anyone doing now during the, pandemic? I guess I'm doing as well or terrible as everyone else.
And Jess?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. I am way too blessed to complain about anything. It's been a rough year, but I'll tell you something funny, Mark. It's like, I think if I could have thrown a dart and chosen the exact month in the exact year when I would have loved to have seen Animaniacs come back, it would have been November 2020. Because hopefully we're going to make the world smile at least a little bit,
No kidding. I can't wait for new episodes beyond this to drop. What you've done is brilliant already, Wesley. Jess, don't get me wrong, but I can't wait to see what you do with what's going on like right now.
Oh, you won't believe it. These guys are geniuses. Wellesley and his team are so great, man. And like Rob says, we don't draw them, we don't write them. We get lucky and get to say them.
Oh,
but they have risen to the challenge, man.
He is downplaying himself way too much. Come on, you're amazing.
We're very, very blessed, man. And like I said, it's been a rough year, but hopefully we're going to go out with at least a little bit of a bang of maniacs.
I love that. So Wesley, as you are taking on this project, big shoes to fill. Do you talk to Steven about it, or do you just say, I'm taking the reins, I'm taking it my direction?
I did a very decisive thing at the beginning. I said, no, thank you. I will not be running Animaniacs. I'm terrified of ruining it. The fans are too knowledgeable, too, just so devoted. And, it's such a piece of their childhood. I didn't want to ruin it. So I said no, like 4 or 5 times. And then Steven and I sort of aligned our philosophies, kind of lined up. And, he said, it's going to be fine. We're going to be good. Because and I didn't realize this until I met him, but he's the anchor for the show. He's the steadiest part of the show. He maintains the tone of everything, and he's very involved. And so are all the people at Amblin, and and so I took it on with a lot of reverence after that point, and just tried to be as faithful to the original show as possible, and just updating it.
What's funny, Mark, and I'll just allude to it briefly. It's like, this is not, Animaniacs was never my baby or any of the voice cast baby because it's such a collaborative thing, but it is like a precious family member to us, and to see it passed from a team that we knew and loved and trusted so much all those years ago into some new hands was a little bit concerning, because you're like, well, I don't want them to screw it up. I don't want them to hurt it, because we love these characters as much as anybody out there does. And what was kind of nice, the first thing we heard was that Steven was going to be involved. So we knew, okay, that's a real good sign, because he's not going to let it go down in flames. He just wouldn't let that happen. But then he brought this new team on, and let's just say they are eminently qualified to give you the Animaniacs that you have always loved in a brand new way for a brand new time. There you go.
I'm part of that fan base that probably caused you to lose sleep because I didn't want you to screw it up either. I mean, look at that. For crying out loud. Look at this. I've been traveling the world collecting Animaniacs.
Oh my God.
Look, you know what?
Storyboards.
I got one of those too, man. I'm your brother from another mother, man. God bless you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There's no whole new generation of Animaniacs fans are going to be out there. How do you introduce Wacko to them? How do you tell them about this?
What's cool about it is, Jackie Gleason was once asked about the Honeymooners, and they said, "Why do you think it's lasted all these years?" And he went, "'Cause it's funny." And it's like, that's exactly the truth. Animaniacs was funny then. The characters are irreverent. They're satirical. They're not cruel. They just look at stuff and go, this is kind of silly. Let's poke some holes in it. And that's what they do. And that humor would have applied in 1950 or 1990 or 2020. What I love about it is I've worked on so many cartoons. I've been so blessed, Mark, to work on so many cartoons, but very few of them have ever tried to do what Animaniacs does and still does, which is make social commentary and satirical commentary about what's going on in a way that's palatable to the whole family. I mean, think about this for a minute, man. How many kids' cartoons, children's cartoons, can you think of that are based around gun control or climate change and that are still fast and entertaining and relatable, and they're over in a heartbeat, but at the end of it, you go, they really were saying something there without me almost not even knowing it. You know what I mean? And that's the miracle that we've achieved, again, thanks to Wells and his team,
There you go, Jessen Wesley, voice of Wacko and the director of the all-new Animaniacs on Hulu. What are you saying? You want a sample? What's that? Hey, you're asking me to break off a sample? All right, here's both a tribute to Animaniacs and Jurassic Park. Take a look.
Alan, this species of cartoon has been extinct since 1998. I mean, these haven't been seen on TV since the golden era of animation. And what?
It's the Warner Brothers.
And the Warner sister.
He did it. That crazy son of a gun actually did it. Clean vectored outlines, widescreen format.
These don't look like reruns.
They're not. I reanimated them. We are gonna make a fortune with this show. How zany are they? To the max. Of course. Then there's Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain? You said you're bringing back Pinky and the Brain?
Mm-mm. Say it again. We're bringing back Pinky and the Brain.
Put your head between your knees.
Boingy, 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 boingy.
Where are they going?
Home. Welcome to Animaniacs.
They are awesome, and you can get them wherever you go. Get the Hulu app and take Animaniacs with you. All new shows streaming now. When we come back to Extra Butter, let's keep the animation going. One of my favorite voices, whether you're talking about Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats, Powerpuff Girls, it's Tara Strong. We catch up to talk about all of that and her new animated series next. Alrighty, you're back. It's the halfway point of Extra Butter. If you're just tuning in, it's a show called Extra Butter, obviously after popcorn, because we talk about nothing but movies here. And except when we want to talk about other stuff, like right now. We just were talking about Animaniacs, so I thought, let's keep the animation going and talk about Tara Strong. And you're going, who's Tara Strong? You might not know her name, but I promise you, you know her voices. Whether you watched Rugrats, Powerpuff Girls, Fairly Odd Parents, a long list of others, including a reboot of My Little Pony, which is kind of why she's joining us right now. And be thankful that this is a virtual interview because I'm such a stalker.
Oh my goodness, thank goodness we're on the internet. Don't come find me.
Well, actually, we have been in the same room together. If you've got a minute, I would love to share this story and talk about how we crossed paths.
Got a minute.
All right, my daughter, when she was 8 years old, got an opportunity to hang out with you and the entire cast of Powerpuff Girls, and you let her in the room where you laid down the animation voiceovers, and you were so nice to her.
No way.
Yes, and so I forever thought you were one of the kindest, coolest people on the planet. Thank you so much for being so nice to her.
Thank you. Wow, is she still into animation?
Well, she ended up selling insurance. But back to you. You've had a great career at this, and if you don't mind, I want to talk about each project and how it touched you. Let's start with Rugrats.
Rugrats for sure was one of those gigs that put me on the map to be able to join that extraordinary cast and just that unique style of animation. And of course, celebrating diversity in animation. It was one of the first to put a Black family, a Jewish family on television. It's some amazing memories with Rugrats.
All right, Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents was probably one of the biggest hits ever. I hear every time I go to a Comic-Con anywhere in the world that that's what brought their family together, that they'd sit and watch together. And there's so much nostalgia with the Fairly Odd Parents. And
It was cool to play a 10-year-old boy for a while.
Oh my God, Be Still My Heart. She just did Timmy Turner. That was amazing. All right, where it began? Powerpuff Girls.
well, Powerpuff Girls was one of those shows that was so wonderful for encouraging girls to be superheroes and friends of girls to love these superheroes,
That they were really adorable, that could still save the day.
and Bubbles was so cute, and we had way too much fun in those sessions, and it was a very magical, special time in my life. I miss doing that show a lot.
I can't believe you just did Bubbles. This is the best day ever. You're bringing families together, yet still with My Little Pony. All new.
We are. It's the same cast. It's all the same main 6 ponies, and it's the same voice actors, which is wonderful. And they're completely redesigned. I don't know how they made the characters cuter, but they succeeded. I can't wait to buy every toy of this new version. But the show is even more colorful, more whimsical, more fun. It premieres this Saturday at 11:30 on Discovery Family, and you can watch it streaming on Discovery Family Go. And it's just an insane amount of fun. It's faster paced and sillier, but it's still all the same great personalities and showing inclusion and friendship and empathy. And it's really beautiful and so important in this time.
Yeah, well, My Little Pony and Pony Life, they're cute, but they're also super cool. This isn't your grandma's pony.
I think they're pretty cool. I mean, I'd put that Pony Life logo on a back of a jean jacket and get on a pony bike if I had one.
You're going to get all this stuff in the mail. Custom Pony Life stuff embroidered for you now.
Oh, right. For sure. And someone's going to send me like a photo of their Twilight Sparkle motorcycle, I guarantee.
All right, it is a movie show, so I want to talk about movies. You are in a feature film live action called Witness Infection. How'd you jump aboard that?
I came on board because of Carlos Alazraqui, who was also on Fairly Odd Parents. He co-wrote this film. It's hysterical. It's one of those things that could be like cult classic-y because it's so silly. It's about food and zombies, and I play this sort of like gangsta chick, and probably the hardest thing was taking off the makeup, so I feel for the people on The Walking Dead. It was quite an adventure and very silly.
It is awesome. You are awesome, and thanks for being nice to my daughter back in the day.
Oh, tell her I say hi.
There you go. Super cool lady, Tara Strong, and Pony Life now available on the Discovery Family app. I will link that on our Extra Butter Facebook page. All right, when we come back from the Avengers to being Uncle Frank, talking about Paul Bettany in a movie you shouldn't miss next. All right, we're back and we're just about done with this Extra Butter. You know how I know we're just about done? When this thing starts popping out like that. What the heck is going on with my thing? Yeah. Better. All right, this is a movie show where we talk about movies. I know we've talked about pretty much everything over the last half hour, but let's get it back to movies. And a movie I'm super excited about this Thanksgiving season. Why? Because we need warm and fuzzy, and this kind of brings the warm and fuzzy. It's Uncle Frank. It's written and directed by Alan Ball, and it stars this guy, Paul Bettany. You probably know him from Avengers. All right, if you're not geeks, let me tell you about this part of Avengers. He is Jarvis. Jarvis is kind of Siri or Alexa on steroids for the Avengers. When I was a kid, we didn't have Siri, we didn't have Alexa, we had Jarvis, and we liked it. In the meantime, I sat down with the two of them to talk about this movie and how special it is. Take a look. Paul, I've been talking to you for decades for pretty much every movie you've ever distributed. This has to be one of my favorite roles for you. I loved this character. Did you love playing him?
I loved it. I mean, I loved the entire experience. Right from receiving the email. I mean, I received an email that said Alan Ball wanted me to be the lead in a movie he'd written. You know, that was great. And then, you know, you're slightly worried, you know, that you're gonna. What if you get the Alan Ball script? You know. And then and it wasn't. It was great. And then I got on the phone with him, and what if he's not very nice? And he was lovely. And then we had really great preliminary conversations about it all. And then I turned up in North Carolina, in Wilmington, and we made this movie, and we had nothing. I mean, all of the sunglasses are my own, a bunch of the costumes of my own. We had no money, but what we did have was an abundance of commitment and love for this project. And I really, I can't tell you, it was 5 weeks of real joy making this movie. Great cast.
And I just love that that's coming from a guy who's on the set of $350, $400 million movies. Alan, how joyful is it to have the idea, you make the words, and then all of a sudden they come out so eloquently from the likes of Paul Bettany?
It was fantastic. I mean, you know, the movie came together. Like Paul said, we didn't really have the resources that maybe we would have liked, but you know, the cast, without exception, was amazing. It was just a joy for me to watch them bring these characters to life. The director of photography, the production designer, the costume designer. We were very lucky in that the weather agreed, you know, we didn't have to cancel days because of rain. We found all the perfect locations, all in Wilmington, North Carolina. It just felt charmed. And it was one of the high points of my career and my life.
Well, it's the proof's in the pudding that this was a conviction, a passion from everybody involved. I'm looking over your shoulder. I apologize for you know, being so voyeuristic, Alan. The aforementioned Alan Ball script, could I have one of those out of the trash? I'll produce that movie. Let me take it. I'll do it.
Oh, they exist. Believe me, the scripts exist.
I don't think so. Hey, you guys, I get to joyfully announce to the two of you it's time for lunch. Thanks for letting me spend some time with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mark.
Good guys there. Check out Uncle Frank, also starring Sophia Lillis. Loved her in it. You're going to love her in this. Maybe some awards headed her way. It's available on Amazon Prime just in time for your turkey eating. All right. I guess we've done it all. We've said it all. I hope you're being good to each other, masking up, staying safe now more than ever. Stay home. Watch the stuff I just recommended. In the meantime, be good to yourselves. Be sure and like and subscribe Extra Butter on YouTube if you're not watching on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you for liking and subscribing. See you next week. Peace out.